Now, Raf, Nazir has spoken about the positive and what Manchester United can do to beat Man City. Blah, he's just so one-sided, blah, blah, blah. They can press that. But I don't think United have the arsenal to trouble City. I know it's a derby game, and like we usually say, when the derby comes around, form flies out of the window. You really can't tell. United best performance this season came against Arsenal. Forget about the winner over Burnley. Their best performance came against Arsenal. And he talked about chances creation. It is the same problem because I saw a stat. I was trying to explain to Nazir. I saw a stat where the past 4 or 5 seasons, Bruno have created more open chances than any other player in the Premier League. But his team have scored the least amount of goals than any of the... So, and then this season again, it's still Bruno that is leading, but they are still not scoring goals. So I'm struggling to understand how all of this will change overnight against Man City.
There's nothing special about this United team. Absolutely nothing special. And if you look at it, you understand it critically when you see how they play, especially against better opposition. And I remember we talking about the fact that okay, United are playing better and they created a higher XG and all of that. 3 out of the 6 XGs that they got was against Burnley. It goes to show you that.
But before Burnley, they had 3 points. Before Mbeumo scored, they had 5 points. Before Mbeumo scored against Burnley,
that's in the game. No, he's looking at their seasonal average of XG. The 3, you know, I was trying to explain it that day, but I just kept quiet. That majority of that XG came against Burnley.
Yeah. And United setup, especially under Amorin.
Look at the live Foster that United defenders couldn't handle. See how Benjamin Freddy made him look ordinary. Go ahead.
The United system, especially under Amorin, has shown us that the focus is majorly on stopping top teams, not necessarily playing beautiful brand of football or creating so much. The idea is just to make sure that they serve as giant killers. We saw them last season. I think they picked up 4 points against City. They picked up 1 point against Liverpool. And I think in almost all the big games that they played last season, they really struggled. Even against Arsenal, they really struggled as much. So when they come up against tougher opposition or better teams, they tend to find a way to make those teams suffer because of their defensive setup and their ability to hit in transition. And this is one of the major areas that City struggle in. I think that's why I'm not so confident in them or confident about them picking up 3 points in this game, because in transition, United look like a very, very top side. The absence of Konya definitely is going to affect them, no doubt, because the transition monster. But when you've got Bruno Fernandes, you've got Šeško, you've got Mbeumo, these guys can hurt you in any transition. So if they are going to sit deep and play in transition, then they can definitely hurt City. But if City believe that they can keep the ball as much, create as much chances going forward, then they can create a lot of goals against this United side. Defensively, they look very, very frail. But for City right now, the idea has to be stopping transition. We saw them against Tottenham Hotspur, they couldn't stop the transitions. We saw them against Brighton, they couldn't stop the transitions. And if they cannot stop transitions in 2025, then there's nothing they can do in terms of winning anything. Because the defense line has a Ruben Diaz and has a John Stones with no out-and-out right back. So it's very, very difficult for them to create that momentum from play, especially on the right. There's no out-and-out.
When you have Nico Williams and Matheus Nunes as the option at right back, that's unacceptable.
And then even Oscar Bob also has not hit the ground. So that right-hand side is very, very poor. Rodri also is neither here nor there. I mean, you can understand he's coming back from injury. But for City, they look like they are there to be beaten. But in terms of quality, you can never write off the Cardiola team.
All right, so let me hit on both things that have been said by Nazir and Raf. I really think what we're seeing for what we saw from James Trafford is nothing different from what we saw with Ederson when he first arrived. Just that the quality of the players upfield are a lot better than the ones we have. And then City are going to be without Umar Marmoush. And but again, Umar Marmoush have not been the Marmoush at Frankfurt, if we are being honest with ourselves. But Rodri is expected to be back fully for this one. And then when Rodri plays, City hardly loses. That's one.
Till the last game against Brighton?
Brighton,
that's the first game that he lost.
That's the first game that he started that he lost. Yeah.
In 50 games.
In 50 games. Yeah. That's the only one game that they have that they have lost that Rodri have started. So, and Rodri was quick to point out that he's not Messi. But the thing is that you can say Rodri is not Messi, Rodri is not the Rose is not that. But there's one thing that Rodri gives City, which I was watching the Premier League preview yesterday, and that thing that he gives City is similar to what Messi gives Barcelona, in the sense that he gives liberty to the forward players to pour forward without having any fear of the one that is behind. And then when the goalkeeper wants to beat from back, the goalkeeper is very sure that he has a player who can help beat the press. Now, for Man United, on the other hand, I don't know know how the pattern of attack is. But I was watching Sean Wright Phillips speak yesterday, and then he was saying something about there is no clear-cut idea on how they want to attack. Something Raf have been saying since last season. They just attack with the hope that something happened. And that now that they have Benjamin Sesko, how they attack is that they keep thrusting those balls inside the box, and they are not putting the balls in area where Sesko can actually hurt the opposition team. They are just putting the balls into the box, expecting Sesko to jump and meet the ball. But it's not. There's supposed to be a pattern. There's supposed to be a style. Now I don't know if Cunha will be fit for this.
No,
in the event that Cunha is out of this, Umbuemo and who will now occupy the other parts?
Maybe Bruno comes forward.
And then Manu comes into the team probably. Or
Exactly. And then probably we will now see a better performance from Bruno.
Most likely.
Most likely.
Especially against City again. So
Yeah, we might see a better performance from Bruno than we have seen so far this season. Because it was only in the game against Burnley that I felt like Bruno actually came alive.
Yeah.
Because they played with how many 4 players did they end that game? I think they ended that game with just 3 defensive players.
Yeah, a lot.
So Bruno was at his best. Now, for United, even Mesunashi, even Amorin is not confident going into this one.